What is up, YouTube? Filthy Casual is in fact back. It's been a while since I've uploaded, but let's get into it. Um, I got a lot to say. A lot has happened since my last video. Congratulations to the Denver Nuggets. Congratulations to especially Jokic, especially Jamal Murray for his injuries. Congratulations to Jeff Green coming back from that open heart surgery that I had. I know that was a long time ago, but that's been a big story. And just congratulations to the Denver Nuggets organization finally breaking through. It's been a long time since their organization has existed, and to finally win a title for the city of Denver, amazing, amazing, amazing. Um, they did a fantastic job building this roster. Aaron Gordon, I've been a fan of since that dunk contest, and to see him be really the third best player on a championship team, which, I mean, if you had asked me that in like 2017, 2018, if he could be like the third guy on a championship team, I would have been like, probably not. Like, probably not. He could be a starter, but like third best? Nah, probably not. But hey, like, good for him. Good for the Nuggets. Good for Denver. Cool. There's been some other wild stuff going on. There's been a lot of trade rumors, so this is going to be a little bit about that and a little bit just about like what's been going on in the NBA. I want to do a longer form video about Denver, so I just wanted to talk about that really, really quick. Um, but yeah, so starting off, Ja Morant just got suspended 25 games, which is, oh my God, so low. What? Like, I'm hearing all these reports like, oh, it's going to be at least 30 games. It's going to be half the season. Ja Morant saying it was a toy gun. So, like, clearly the guy has not learned his lesson. Because, bro, toy guns look like Nerf guns. They've got orange tips. Even if they're BB guns, they don't look like real guns like that. And for him to be like, "Oh no, bro, it was a fake gun. It was a toy." That is such a lie. Man, this guy's lying through his teeth like this is freaking middle school, and it worked. He only got banned for 25 games, which is crazy. Which is crazy to me. That's just like my initial gut reaction. Like, this is so low, and this is so biased towards the fact that he is who he is, and I still have just like no words for like how that is even happening. Like that is my like live reaction because I just found out about this like as I pressed record. Beyond that, Zion with his baby mama drama with them, that's that is also interesting. And now the Pelicans are supposedly looking to move Zion in order to get Scoot Henderson, which could be exactly what the Portland Trailblazers want, or the Hornets, because the Hornets were going to draft Brandon Miller not just because of his talent, but because he fit more with LaMelo than Scoot. Right, that was the plan. But now you're not comparing Brandon Miller and Scoot. You're comparing Brandon Miller and Zion. And Zion is one of those players who has consistently been unavailable. Consistency, right? Consistency. And there seems to be a lot of stuff happening with him that has hindered his career so far. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about in regards to that is, does that have something to do with New Orleans? I mean, it's not like when he first got there. Like, I mean, they've got CJ. They have like veterans in that locker room. I mean, even Brandon Ingram has a couple more years of just basketball experience than Zion. I wouldn't call him like a veteran, but like I mean, CJ. They had Steven Adams for a while. They had Vooch. Like, they've got guys who know what it's like to be in the league and how to not only survive in the league, but like actually do well and improve your game year to year. And the thing is Zion, when he plays, he's one of the 10 best guys in the league. He's 28 points on 60% true shooting. Like, the only guy doing that is Jokic. And sorry, like 80% true shooting. Not sorry, like Jokic. That's it. Like, that's it. I mean, Jokic and like Prime Curry. Those are the two guys who do that shit. So, I mean, he's clearly one of the best players in the league when he plays, but he doesn't play. So, and not playing has led him to, seems to, on the surface, have led him to some off the court shenaniganry that is now impacting him staying in New Orleans. I am actually quite interested on if this actually does go down or if this is just a bunch of BS. If Zion gets traded, that might be the fastest like a non-bust first round pick gets traded in like recent memory since Wiggins, I think, because Wiggins got traded before he even played a game, right? That was him for Kevin Love, right? That was because of LeBron. But man, that is I did not expect Zion to be in trade rumors at all this year, but especially because they just paid the guy. So given that Zion might be available, I personally would like to see him with the Blazers. Personally, right? I mean, I first of all, I'd like to see him stay in New Orleans, but if he could be with the Blazers, I mean, with Dame, like if he plays, like that could be really good. Obviously, if the Blazers can't get him, then they should move off of Dame. And I think before that report, it was moving in that direction for the Blazers. There was like Dame was talking about it, the organization was talking about it. Everybody kind of seemed resigned to the fact that they were going to try to move Dame and keep Scoot. You know, Dame was making some cryptic tweets. He wasn't even talking about the grind shit anymore. He was just like, well, if the fans want me gone, or like, let's do what's best for myself and for the organization. They were talking like that. And this might be the route available to them to move off of Dame or keep Dame and actually try to make this work because Lord only knows. That would be amazing because they moved up in the draft. If you remember, they had like what they were supposed to have like the sixth pick or something, and they end or fifth pick, and they ended up with a third, which was a massive L for the Pistons and the Rockets, but a massive W if you like Dame Lillard. Um, Moving on from the whole Dame Lillard stuff, the other name that I see floated around a lot is Bradley Beal. Like, bro, Wizards, what the fuck are you doing? If you wanted to move off of Bradley Beal, why didn't you do that last year before you gave him the $250 million contract with the no trade clause? It's impossible to move him. Nobody wants that contract. And I mean, maybe I've heard some like thoughts about him maybe being a Nick. I don't personally love that. I don't think he does what we need him to do. He's not an excellent 3-point shooter, which is our main weakness. And uh, the trade package for him that the Knicks would want was like we would have to. It would probably be Evan Fournier and Julius Randle, right? Because that's the money. Because Julius Randle, lest you forget, is actually not on a max contract. Or like on a super max contract, despite making All NBA, he took a pay cut, or you know took a lesser contract to stay with the Knicks, which again always mad props to my man Randall for it, but he has not showed up in the playoffs at all, and it's kind of a terrifying degree. I can't remember any player having a bigger fall off than Julius Randle from an All NBA caliber forward to literally like I wouldn't even say he's like a starting caliber player so far in his playoff career. Like he's had one game of 20 points and everything else, and on bad efficiency, I might add. And every other game was like, 11 points, 14 points. Like it was bad. And that's over two seasons now. I'm not saying we 100% like I'm not saying that he will never get over that as a player, but I think for the Knicks, Jalen Brunson and RJ Barrett are who you're working with right now. Julius Randle, despite having a great season, should not be the priority to build the team around anymore. Because that's what we did for a couple of years. We were building around Randle. That is what we were doing. Um, I don't know who else there would be. I've seen some Pascal Siakam stuff. I don't really know if I love that either. Pascal's better than Randle for sure, but like for like at least the playoffs for sure. But I don't necessarily think if that is going to be the best route for this team because it really needs shooting. And Pascal is not a better shooter than Randle. He's just not. If anything, I'd say Randle's a better shooter than Siakam. Um, and then beyond that, there's been some offseason stuff with Ben Simmons on the other end of New York. He's got posting all those workout videos. And I'm not falling for it, but I'm saying if he's going to have a comeback season, it will be this season. Otherwise, he is not going to ever be the same player again. I don't think so. barring injuries, right? If he starts playing well off rip and then has some injuries, okay. Um, Although I am concerned about how he's going to fit in, considering all the stuff that like Jack Vaughn was saying about Ben Simmons towards the end of the season, um, uh, and all that. I don't really think the Nets are really looking to make moves per se outside of maybe getting draft capital. I think I recall them like they have like I think it's 19 and 22, or they have two mid to late round first round picks, and they're looking to either move up or move out. Um, I don't think I particularly care either way. I don't really see this team getting much better from a draft pick unless they have somebody that they like. But the fact that they have two picks in that range and they don't want to keep them means that they don't think anybody there is really moving their needle and would just rather get a player. Um, Other than that, I don't really think there's anybody specific other than Cam and Mikal Bridges who they want to keep. Cam is obviously a free agent, so retaining him should be the top priority because he's a good player. He's a solid player who has potential upside that's really really good. So keeping him around should be the Nets' main goal. Beyond that, the Magic I think are an interesting case. The Magic and the Pistons, I think, are both in similar spots where. Well, I'll speak up to the Magic first. Um, the Magic definitely want to get more of a roster around Paolo because they have a lot of really good young talent. I have been a big supporter of the Magic and their young talent for a while now. They've got Fultz, they've got Cole Anthony, who I think can be solid. They've got uh, obviously Paolo. They have their forward brothers, the Wagners, but really, we all know the one that is good and the one that is really good. Um, so they've got people. So it's all about filling out the rest of the roster with veterans, I think. I think really the only people that they should be looking to keep are Paolo, Wagner, and sorry, Markel Fultz. Those are the only three people I think that really are untouchable for them. And the rest of their roster, I think, could use some revamping because I think those guys can take that step, and this team could be a play-in team, maybe a play-off team, like a low seed in the playoffs. Like maybe they could sneak into that six seed, given the right circumstances and the right off season. I think a play-in is far more likely for them, and I think they remind me a bit of OKC. Which, speaking of OKC, they're getting Chet back. And that means that this is their year to make that leap and attack the playoffs. Obviously, the Warriors are looking weak, so that spot is obviously up for grabs. The Grizzlies are missing Ja. Obviously, they have Jaren Jackson Jr., so I'm not counting them, and Desmond Bane, so I'm not counting them out. But they have some questions about their roster, and I think there's a lot of that in the West. I think there's a lot of questions. The Clippers, what are the Clippers going to do? Because I mean, Russell Westbrook's not there anymore. I mean, unless he signs back, which he might. I mean, they're the team that gave him a shot, and I think the Clippers might be the best fit for him as a player. He had an amazing postseason, and I think that the Clippers are one of those teams that really just need to be healthy. Like I don't even think they need moves; they just need to be healthy. Um, I mean, but we've been saying that shit for years. Like I'm ready to usher them aside for the new era. Also, am I the only one who constantly sees all this OG Anunoby trade, whatever, and then like I'm immediately like, this is a massive overvalue of OG Anunoby. Like he's a great player, he's a really good player, but he's a starter plus, and and the Raptors have been consistently valuing him as like an all-star caliber player almost, and that's freaking stupid. That is stupid, and that's why nobody's willing to trade for him because he's way overvalued. And I mean, I will also say that actually, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit because the overvaluing on OG Anunoby has been crazy, but there are some good players in that forward position that's in the market this season. They've got Draymond Green as a free agent. Kristaps Porzingis is a free agent, and Kyle Kuzma are all free agents. And I think those are really good players. Like Draymond is obviously the best out of the three, but those two Wizards players are really good as well. And they both could be moving. Like if the Knicks get, this is why I meant by backtrack, if the Knicks get Kristaps, that is good. That is really good for the Knicks, right? Um, I think it could be a chance to redo what we couldn't get. And if we could get rid of, maybe like Fournier and like a sign and trade for him, I think the Wizards would like that because Fournier is he's a good player. He didn't fit with the Knicks, but I don't think, he's gonna go somewhere else and he's gonna play well. Like, don't get me wrong, he's gonna score. He's gonna be that guy, right? He's a big guard who can shoot. That's what he does. Um, so he's a piece for them who they can either trade after upping his value or just keep. And Porzingis is a player that they likely aren't going to retain. Uh, at least in my opinion, I don't think they're going to retain him. And the best thing that I can see for Porzingis is to come back to New York. I don't think there's anywhere else that will give him his money and give him an opportunity to play like power forward, and which he wants, and play killer defense. Like him and Mitchell Robinson might be problematic in the to play together, but Mitchell Robinson is foul trouble all the time, and Porzingis can shoot. He can spread the floor as a forward position, which Julius Randle can't do. So these are all things to consider for this offseason. There is so much more that I would want to talk about, and it's too much for one video. Who is there anybody else that I want to talk about? Is there anybody else that I want to talk about in their off-season moves? Because I feel like I talked about everybody that I personally found super interested in. I think the Cavs are kind of strapped and they can't really do a ton. The 76ers with Harden, I think he's gone. I don't think he's going to stay unless, I mean, he could stay. I don't know. I don't know what Harden wants personally. He wants to win, but doesn't want to play like he wants to win. He had some great games in the playoffs, had some really bad games in the playoffs, and Embiid is constantly injured. So I don't know what the 76ers are doing. That is the one GM job that I do not want, other than the Warriors, because the Warriors have a lot of questions. The Bucks are probably just running it back. They could trade Drew. I doubt it. Celtics, if you can, run it back with the exact same squad. Hopefully get a new coach in the locker room because I don't think their coach is it as well as he did. Just they clearly lacked something, and I think the coach is the most reasonable replacement given the skill of every single player on that roster. The Hawks I've seen in some trade rumors for, I mean, basically moving off of John Collins, but again, they're overvaluing him like the Raptors overvalue OG Anunoby. The Heat have been in every rumor to get everybody, as of course they just lost the finals. Of course they're in every rumor. Bam played amazing, by the way. Mad props to Bam. I said that I was questioning his ability to be like a number 2 guy on a championship team. And I mean, hell, he was the best player in the finals for the Heat by far. So, I mean, shut me up. Good on you, Bam. I'm glad to be back on your side. And that's pretty much it. The Pacers are in a similar position to the Magic, I think, but they could also just take another year to get another draft pick. But I mean, I think the Pacers have an opportunity to continue to be good. And then I'll say the one last team, the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves need to get rid of Karl-Anthony Towns. I don't know for who or for what, but they need to build around Anthony Edwards, and there's no way that they can play with Cat and Rudy Gobert at the same time, I think. And that is a little bit in contradiction to what I said when they first made the trade. I said it would take them a year to figure it out, but they didn't even get the year because they were injured all the time. And Rudy Gobert and Cat, neither of them can play the four, which is problematic. Which is really problematic. That being said, maybe if they get a couple of more defensive players off the bench to really fill out the rotation, maybe they can make it work. But beyond that, I think trading Cat is your best bet. I mean, he's still a really talented center. You could probably get a lot for him. Yeah, and that's it. There's loads of other teams. I'm gonna probably make a bunch of videos, kind of like how I did last season, where it's like my best worst series, where I talk about the best case scenario and the worst case scenario for every team. I'll probably do like a little bit of trade reaction stuff, and I'm gonna try to get to that long form video on the Nuggets. Try not to hate me if it doesn't happen because I have so much happening right now with law school and all that. So try not to hate on that, but thank you so much for watching the video, and Filthy out.